All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chai Tea Tai Chi web show. I am your host, Andrew Brown, and joining us today is Dane Dormio, so we can discuss something very interesting. Now, how you doing, Dane?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Glad to be talking about this exciting topic.
All right. So yes, the exciting topic. This is touch deprivation. So touch deprivation is something that we've started talking about and we were researching a little bit. And I just wanted to let Dane go ahead and just tell us, Dane, what is touch deprivation?
Well, amongst all of the basic human needs, touch is one of them. Physical touch with other human beings, including skin-to-skin contact. And this is a fundamental physiological need on par with food, water, sleep, movement, etc. Although it changes throughout our lives. When we are babies, touch is crucial. In fact, it's been discovered through tragic incidents that if babies are given everything else they need to stay alive through the first weeks and months of life, they have warmth, they have food, they have water, but they're not touched, physically touched and held, they'll actually die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As we get older, we become a little bit less sensitive. As children, past a certain age, we won't die if we're not touched, but it has negative effects on our development, negative developmental effects. And as adults, without touch, we won't die, but our physical and mental health will suffer.
Yeah,
and we'll suffer emotionally. So touch deprivation is just refers to the state of not getting the body's need for physical contact with other human beings met. It's something that is vital for us as a species, and if you're not getting this need met, then in some ways you may not realize perhaps you're suffering for it.
Yeah. There's a lot of cases of depression out there, and a lot of it has to do with isolation, being alone for a long period of time. It does crazy things to you. So we know that for a fact. Just the prisons are one example. The solitary confinement is basically torture, and that's what we're doing to people when we isolate them. We're putting them in a position where a lot of these basic needs, the socialization needs, are not met. So Dane, why do we have to care about this? Is there any reason we need to really know about this in depth?
Well, the most important reason is what I just said. Just like all of your needs, all of our fundamental needs, if our needs aren't being met, then we'll suffer in some way. Your health will suffer. You mentioned depression as being one kind of symptom or manifestation that touch deprivation can contribute to. If we're concerned about overall physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social health and well-being, then this is important, of course. And it's something that a lot of people don't recognize as a need, and a lot of people, even if they do recognize it as a need, aren't really aware of many ways to get it met. So it's important to raise awareness that there's such a thing as touch deprivation, and there are ways to get that need met.
Okay, and so we are Tai Chi practitioners, and how do you think Tai Chi helps with touch deprivation?
Well, that's a great question, and I actually I want to say something else before that, which will which ties into that. But I want to make an important distinction that's also important to understand about the need for touch is the distinction between touch and sex.
Mm.
And this is an important distinction for adults particularly because um, for a lot of adults, don't know how to get their touch needs met apart from sex. And touch is a need, sex is a need. They're both valid and separate needs, but they don't have to be met together. In other words, it's not necessary to have sex or to have a sexual relationship in order to get your touch needs met. And in fact, non-sexual touch is its own specific category of need. If uh, um, uh, even if your need for sex was being met, you would still have a need for non-sexual touch,
Yeah.
And so that's an important point. I want to make an important distinction. Um, so when we're talking about strategies for getting our touch needs met, that's totally independent of things like dating and sexual relationships.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, during our research, I found a whole industry I never really knew much about was cuddle therapy. So people will actually, they're professionals. They come to your house, or you come to their house, or somewhere in between, and you just cuddle. You kind of hug each other, you just hold each other, touch each other, talk, and it's just a big part of connecting with another person. Someone who's been widowed for many years, someone who hasn't had contact with anyone, intimate contact with anyone for a long time. These are great uses for that kind of therapy.
Yeah, it's true. Um, there are communities where people practice these things together. Have things like cuddle parties. There are people who actually who act as professional cuddlers, um, and that's right. That's something that is out there that is part of the movement to find healthy ways to meet the fundamental need for human touch. So having made that distinction and emphasize the importance of non-sexual physical contact. Um, Getting back to the question about what does Tai Chi have to do with this? Well, uh, within first of all, it helps to make the distinction between Tai Chi and Qigong because they're often used interchangeably. Tai Chi is often practiced as a form of Qigong, a form of health Qigong, really. And Qigong is energy work. It's solo cultivation practice for health, wellness, longevity, stress reduction, performance enhancement. And there's medical Qigong and there's martial Qigong, and there's also spiritual Qigong. And Tai Chi and other internal martial arts are forms of martial Qigong. And Tai Chi in particular is a form of martial Qigong that is often practiced as a form of medical Qigong, as a solo health practice, as a solo health Qigong practice. But Qigong practice as a martial Qigong practice has both solo practices as well as partner practices.
Mm-hmm.
So these are both significant because if you're practicing health Qigong, which we recommend everyone do daily as part of your personal daily mind, body, energetic hygiene practice, self-massage is an important part of that. So everybody should be touching themselves every day. As a baseline. And
I do a lot of self-massage in the shower. Once you get that lubrication, then it really makes it easy to rub your muscles and get that deep massage. And I know it's been tough to get that kind of touch from even professionals during this lockdown. So we're lucky that we can learn these techniques and we can treat ourselves to the same medical needs, these touch needs and the muscle stimulation needs that we all have is just humans living in this world and exercising and moving around.
That's right. Lubrication makes everything 10 times better. But yeah, there are, and as part of the daily dose process that we teach, it involves self-massage techniques. There are various self-massage techniques one can learn that that help to stimulate the body, stimulate the skin, stimulate the endocrine system, stimulate the hormones and the biochemicals, the neurotransmitters in a similar way as human touch, and we certainly should not neglect these things. This is part of your regular daily health practice. Self-massage is an important component. COVID, no COVID, regardless, it's an important part. So the solo practices, even if there's a lockdown, there's still the solo practices that that help to preserve the body in this way. As far as contact with other humans, this is a very important part of Tai Chi training, understood as a martial art. And I'd like to share a story that kind of illustrates this. And this was from a friend of mine who is a high-level Tai Chi practitioner, opened and ran a chain of Tai Chi schools in Southern California for a long time, and competed, was a competitor and judge to professional level in Tai Chi and push hands competitions. So I asked him, I'd asked him once about teaching push hands and this kind of thing, and what he told me was, when he first started teaching, and he was taught in a very was trained and taught in a very traditional way, where you begin learning Tai Chi with, even as a martial art, you begin learning the forms and you practice the forms. You practice solo practice for a long time before you ever do partner practice, before you ever do push hands. And he would have people practicing forms, practicing solo practice for a year. And then he would introduce the partner practice. And he found that 50% or more of people at that point would say, oh, wait, no, I just want to do Tai Chi. I don't want to do this touchy-feely stuff. I'm out. And they would quit at that point, because it's like, well, to continue with Tai Chi, you have to do this touchy-feely stuff. And they say, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to do Tai Chi, which to them was the solo practice. Mm-hmm. So what he found was he introduced it sooner. He introduced it after only 6 months. You do solo practice for 6 months, and then you start doing the partner practice. And he found the dropout rate half, so only 25% people dropped out at that time. And he kept shortening it, and he found that the best time to introduce partner practice, when you're learning Tai Chi, when you're teaching Tai Chi to absolute beginners, the best time to introduce partner practice is from the very first lesson, 0% dropout rate, because nobody thinks it's weird, because they're not conditioned to think that Tai Chi is only this solo practice. It's normal and natural. And so what I'm getting at is Tai Chi is a martial art. If it's taught in practice in this way, then the physical contact is an integral part from day one. It's an integral part of the training. So what I was tying back in with what I was saying earlier about non-sexual physical contact. If you're training Tai Chi in this way, if you go to a lot of traditional Tai Chi classes, it's just exercises and forms and solo practice. But if Tai Chi is being taught as a martial art, and the martial aspects are being integrated, then basically from day one, it's not about woo-woo psychic energy or anything. It's about physical contact, hands-on other human beings. If you have short sleeves, you get skin to skin contact, and it's even better. It's non-sexual physical touch. And so in addition to all of the many health benefits that we talk about from Tai Chi all the time in terms of stress reduction and immune system boosting and mood and everything that we talk about, additionally, there's this additional benefit from partner practice of physical contact that helps to meet the body's innate need for touch with other human beings. Helps to stimulate the neurotransmitters and the chemicals and compounds with all the other health benefits that you're already getting from the practice.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so Tai Chi really helps with giving us that touch sensation, that soft touch, that almost intimate, but like you said, non-sexual touch.
Right,
So
you're right.
it's
It's intimate.
just that we can get this dual.
It's unique because it's intimate. It's very intimate. I mean, push hands is all about developing sensitivity and feeling your partner's body. It is very intimate in a way. It's non-sexual and it's safe. It's non-threatening, and those three taken together have a very therapeutic effect.
Yeah. It's as long as we keep that slow pace going, then it stays non-threatening. And I've seen this where students will start to accelerate a little too quick, and then you can develop a ton of bad habits by doing that. But let's keep that slow, soft, meditative state where you're working with your partner, and then you can really work on your touch sensitivity and reduce your deprivation.
Right. Yeah. Among all of in addition to all the other great health benefits you're getting from practicing Tai Chi, it can also be part of getting your touch needs met.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Dane, where can people find more information about this kind of stuff?
So if you would like help with establishing your personal daily mind-body energetic hygiene practice, or getting oriented in the world of Qigong, Tai Chi, and mind-body practices generally, you're welcome to join our online learning community. You can find it on our website, Chai Tai Chi. And you can also contact us here on whatever platform you're seeing this, Facebook, YouTube, or wherever. You're welcome to reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'd love to support you and have you join us on this lifelong mind-body mastery journey.
All right. Awesome. Well, Dane, thank you very much for introducing touch deprivation to us and some basic ways for us to get through it. So we learn, we get sensitive to it again and stimulate one of those needs of our body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, thank you, Andrew. Signing off. Thank you very much, Dane. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Peace out, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.